Well, today we're at the Hill Dickinson Stadium and I'm joined by Everton's head of grounds, Craig Knight. Craig, wow.
Yeah, it's quite a place, isn't it?
It's still shiny, isn't it?
It is, yeah. It's very, very new, very shiny. Very much loved by Everton fans, I think, at this point. You know, they have adopted the place really very well on a match day. I think the biggest compliment I can probably give to it is that there are not too many people saying how they miss Goodison and they miss that side of things. I'm
told it's very loud.
It is, yes. Match days can get very loud here. Last couple of games have been particularly loud. We played Liverpool, obviously our local rivals, and Manchester City on Monday night this week. And both games are really good games, and some real good passion and some noise from the fans.
So your background, I know you've come here from Man City, but where did it all start for you, Craig?
I originally started when I left school as an apprentice cricketer.
Oh wow! Okay.
I worked at Yorkshire for 2 years on their youth training scheme, and so from there I quickly realised I probably didn't have the God-given ability to make it as a cricketer. I looked around for how I could sort of remain in sport and continue my love with sports in general. And I was fortunate to be offered a position on the grounds team at Headingley, working under Keith Boyce, which is mainly on the cricket side. Again, at the end of that summer, I was lucky that a position became available working with Norman Southernwood on the rugby league side of the ground.
All right. Okay.
And yeah, it kind of started there for me. After that, Norman and I both sort of moved across to Leeds United at that point.
Right.
The club had just recently taken back ownership of the ground from the Leeds City Council. I spent sort of 10 years there as being Champions League semi-finalist to in League One.
And you're a Leeds fan, are you?
I'm a Leeds fan, yeah.
Okay.
For my sins, my guys are not looking at me.
You were a Leeds fan.
Yeah, I mean, it's an odd thing. You work in football, and you've kind of grown up a Leeds fan. I was never a dyed-in-the-wool Leeds fan. I'll say that. But yeah, if I was going to watch a game as a lad, we went to watch Leeds. But yeah, it's a funny, strange thing. Even you work for a different club, and it's not the club you've supported growing up. But I think if you work for any business, I'd like to think that you want that business to do well.
Yeah.
So yeah, anybody who works in football will tell you any club you work for is a much happier place if the results are going your way and you're winning games, and that's what you want for any team you work for.
So was it Leeds then City, or was there anything in between?
Yeah, no, Leeds, and then I was travelling. I met my wife, who lived in the Stockport area, and I was travelling back to Leeds each day, and the journey became too much for me. I crashed my car on the M62 one Monday morning, and I realised probably this is probably gone a bit far now, and I got a job at a local high school.
Right, okay.
I was head of grounds at the local high school, which is an amazing place, sort of 30 acres of sports field, and such potential, was amazing. But again, I was looking around and the school was struggling a little bit to afford textbooks, let alone drainage systems and things that I could sort of envisage. And then, so I sort of saw an opportunity just after Man City had been taken over by Sheikh Mansour. And I went to work. I started there, working in the stadium for probably 18 months before I was asked to go to their then training ground of Carrington. And then I was lucky when the new training ground at CFA opened to be promoted into deputy head groundsman for the first team. So
you were there with Roy Rigby?
I was, yes.
Lee Metcalf, Lee Jackson.
Indeed.
Okay, so you worked with all three of those, so that's got to be an experience for one thing. The other experience is joining a club that's suddenly got a huge investment.
Yeah, I mean, I learned so much. Like I said, I mentioned Keith and Norman already. I learned so much from these people. Yeah. In my really developmental stages, when I didn't know one end of a lawnmower from another, I suppose. Right. Some people will probably still tell you that's how it is even now. But obviously, Roy and Lee, tremendous knowledge around the sport and helping me develop and encouraging me to do so. The club, with the investment that came in, it was good. I mean, I'll caveat that with it's Man City, and everyone can see that they're investing in the world. It's not just people throwing money at you, and just we've got all this money in our pocket, we want to lose it. It's you have to make a really good case to have that investment into your department and make that work for the club, and how that's going to improve things for you.
So then Roy and the Lees kind of moved on. John Ledwidge came in, so you got a chance to work with John Ledwidge. Not for too long though, because
Yeah, I did about 18 months with John.
Yeah.
I give John credit in that he'd probably relit a fire in me that had probably started to go out a bit. I was really I was quite comfortable working with the first team. I loved that role. He came in and the 2 leads moved on, and I was sort of promoted and I looked after the Etihad a bit more from that point onwards.
Yep.
But yeah, then sort of I was looking around and sort of talking to John. You kind of looking and thinking, I kind of had that ambition to sort of see where he's been and how he's moved in the industry, and I had that ambition, and like I said, it hadn't died out, but I was really comfortable in my position, and this opportunity became available, and I thought, actually, that's something that I'm really interested in. He kind of probably lit that fire in me to make me think, oh yeah, actually, I do want that perhaps still for myself. I've got enough years left in me to have my own team and develop it in the way I want to develop it.
So you joined, and it was at Goodison.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah. This was being built.
Yeah, literally, I joined, and about a week later, it was handed over to the club.
Right. Okay.
The pitch had just been seeded. I mean, it was seeded in end of November, beginning of December, just before I started.
So you had no input on the construction?
No, that was all done pre me starting.
Okay.
And then we sort of came in we got our consultants, PSD, who were sort of overseeing things in here, and the SAL, the contractors who installed the pitch, were kind of looking after it at that point for us as well, because we didn't have people to sort of come in at that point. And I sort of spent a day or 2 a week here just to make sure we got to a position where we could host the 2 test events we needed to have, or 3 test events we needed to have, sort of early part of last year. So February and March last year they took place. And it was just a question of coming and spend some time here, make sure I know roughly the systems that we've got, how to find the irrigation system, and just try and find. So we weren't completely blind to it, and sort of in May when we were looking to renovate and start up.
So what construction have you got here?
So we're currently on a CIS stitch.
Yeah.
We do have the AquaCycle system from SEL, which is a water recycling system. So the water that either irrigation or rain that falls on the pitch is recycled in the form of a crate. So there's about 500,000 litres of water stored under the pitch that we can use for anything from flushing toilets to rewatering or putting back on the surfaces as irrigation.
You pretty much self-sufficient then, or?
We are at this point. We're not quite probably using as much recycled water. We're sort of mixing between borehole and sort of extracted water, potable water, and the water that's held under the pitch. And we're just looking.
Mains then, or?
Again, it's there for us to use if we need it, and we do use some, but we try and stay away from that.
Okay.
From a cost and sustainability side, really.
And obviously regulations are getting tighter, so the fact you've got your own borehole already.
Yeah, and we can store water under the pitch itself. So we
and you've got the Mersey just there, haven't you?
We have got the Mersey. It's quite close, isn't it? You'll have seen driving in it. We are very close to that, yeah, and the any issues that might bring with it.
Little secret pump under there. So you've come in, you've done half a season at Goodison, and then you're coming into here. What was your biggest kind of concern about getting this ready for day one proper match day?
I think it's the step into the unknown.
Right.
It's like best player in the world, Goodison. I've had Bob there he's been there 38 years, and he's forgotten more about the place than I will ever know.
Yeah.
I've got the guys who work with me, Tony and John, who've both worked with Bob at Goodison for 20, 25 years each. So we know, like every player, we know how the pitch is going to react. We know what to expect from it.
Yeah.
Here was just a step into the unknown. We know what we think will happen. Yeah. But the actuality of what actually comes with that it can be very different. Just having to tweak our programs and say, actually the shade at that end is worse, and it's so much colder down there.
Yeah.
So we're actually going to have to put grow lights out more early in the process of the growing than we thought we would have to. It was nice to have that bit of extra time because we could kind of test it. Sort of John was appointed head groundsperson here, and we sort of between us discussed, right, we've got a little bit of time. We can kind of stretch what we will need to do, so we'll know for this summer should we be doing a standard growing that excuse me, we'll what we'll need to do. We can kind of test that. We've got a little bit of time, and so we sort of left the lights off.
Yeah.
And we were kind of ready for spraying and doing 2 cuts a week in this half, and kind of down that end where the shade was. It was so much colder and so different. We were sort of saying, right, we're like 3 weeks, it's like just beyond germination. We're going to have to put lights. We didn't need heat at that point from the lights, but we did need to just encourage it with some actual grow lighting, even through that time of year.
So, have you got your head round managing that now, or is it something that's a continuing kind of learning curve?
I think that will continue to. I think this year's been a really steep learning curve. I'm hoping that flattens a little, just for all our sanities really a little bit.
Okay.
But yeah, I think we will continue to learn for probably beyond my time of retirement here, in that at this point we still don't know how it's going to cope with a dump of snowfall. Yeah. And because we've just not had any sort of depth of snow yet. We've had a few flurries here and there, but for an actual, if we were to get 6 inches, a foot of snow one day or whatever, what would that look like? How long would it take to go? We don't know what we don't know, I suppose.
And everybody thinks it's easy. So you don't just switch it on and it starts.
Yeah, snow is one of those things, isn't it, where everyone knows better than we do. Everyone comes out and tells you what you should be doing. And I've started to get to a point now where if we have that, or we have to deal with it at a training ground, and I just designate one person to talk to, or I'm the one person that talks to the people coming out, telling us how we should be doing it, and trying to explain to them why we are doing it in the way we're doing it.
Got you. You've got Goodison still that you're looking after, and
Indeed.
That's now the home for the women's team.
Yep.
So that's obviously a big commitment on behalf of the club around the women's team. Here, and then how many kind of training facilities are you running?
We still have Wallenhall Park, which is our former home for our women's team. Our under-21s play there, Premier League 2 fixtures there.
Right.
So we have commitment to looking after that, as well as 12 and a half pitches at our training facility, as well as 3 Astros as well. So quite a commitment to pitches across there. I think there's no real secret. The club have sort of, whilst we're building this, they had a change of ownership. Forced a little bit by the Ukraine war, because the owners were Russian. And then the kind of investment into the club, into ground, into facilities has probably been a bit slower than we would have liked over the last few years. But I think things are starting to turn around a bit now. Obviously this place is finished, and so it's not taking as much money as it was. We've had quite an investment last year in grow lighting for here, equipment for here, equipment into our training ground, and it's just us starting to build that process. I've just had approval for some of the Desso pitches we have at our training ground for our first team to be reconstructed over the course of this summer. So what
are you going with there? With Desso again?
We'll probably go for something to match this. So it's a like for like. It won't be the whole aqua cycle, but we'll go to a stitched system probably.
So your biggest learning point from switching this stadium on, if you like, has been what?
I think just trying to work out what the club want from it. We stand here today and we've had a couple of days use now of play on the pitch. Corporate stuff. We hosted the Rugby League Ashes International in October, sandwiched between 2 Premier League fixtures, and it's just sort of learning what the club, how we're going to make money from it, and how we can best do that, yet still protect the important part, which is the football side of things. And it's just as finding that balance, I'd guess.
So just before we came and started the shoot, you're having a catch up with David Moyes, the gaffer. Is that a regular occurrence? Does he work well with you, or is he kind of a little bit more distant?
No, I mean, if I see him, I'll catch up with him, be it match day or today is a training session. So every training session I go and try and make sure I speak to him, make sure he's happy. I try to leave him alone as much as I can. He's got enough going on with football issues without me going and pecking his head, asking if the grass is the right height or whatever. I know for a fact that if it's not, he'll definitely let us know in one way or another. So I try not to be too in his face, but as much as I can, I try and catch up with him whilst he's in that sort of relaxed mode, and we can have a reasonable chat around where we're at, and just to make sure that they're happy, be it here or at Finch Farm.
So 18 months in, is it where you want it to be? Are you where you want to be in terms of your knowledge and your understanding of this monster? As
I said, I think my learning definitely not. Like I said, we're definitely going to keep learning. I think anybody who works in our industry is continually learning, just from the changing products that we can use, how we use them. That's a learning piece in itself, as well as we have the learning piece of still learning about how the pitch reacts to different conditions, different
Yep.
weather systems, different weather fronts, how we get the best from our under pitch systems, so our aeration, extraction systems, so we can we have fans that we can draw moisture and oxygen through the pitch,
Yep.
or we can blow air back through the other way. And just working out those what the best way to get the best from those systems are. It's constant learning. Are we exactly where I want us to be? No.
Yeah.
Again, I think I don't think we ever will be, because that's kind of how I am, and I think how most people who work in our industry are, is that no matter what it is and how perfect somebody tells you it is, you'll know something that is not quite perfect, and you'll want to put that right for the next game, the next season, the next year, or whatever that is.
What are you most pleased about through this kind of transition for you and the club in terms of opening up a new stadium?
I think the fact that we've kept the pitch, I think, in pretty good order most of this season. I think if you'd have told us, I think we ask ourselves probably at each game, I do a walk around with my team, so we can have a look from sort of slightly higher up. We don't tend to go up in the stands very much. We tend to spend all our time actually on the grass itself. So on a match day, we have a walk around and we sort of really critical about how it looks, and is there anything we can see that we can improve from there. But we kind of ask ourselves the question as well, if you'd told us this is how it was going to be in December, January, February, would we have taken it before we moved in? And I think we've probably pretty much answered yes to that every time. In that if you said, oh, this is, middle of December, this is how your pitch is going to be. You've had a rugby league international. Are you happy with where it is? I think we've said yes to that question each time.
So the team that you've already mentioned, you've got some experienced guys that have been around the club and some of the surfaces for quite a while.
Yeah.
What sort of size team are you working with across all the different sites?
We're a team of 17 at this point, including my two gardening staff. Again, it sounds like it is a lot of people, but it's actually, for the amount of area we're looking after, it's quite a stretch.
I was going to say, you've got quite a few facilities, and total number of pitches you're looking after as well?
Well, yeah, so 12 grass at Finch, and then 3 in effectively the stadium type group. We're sort of 15 pitches over 15 grounds team, and 2 gardening team who are also very stretched in that
over 4 sites.
Over 4 sites, we appreciate we're quite stretched, and I'd like to add people to that. But that's a challenge just generally. I think the club kind of looked at it, and we don't want to flood the place and then find we've got too many people who want to move. So it's kind of a slowly process from that side. And
in terms of recruitment, is that fairly easy for you up here, or is it like everybody else, you struggle to get the right people?
I think we're like everybody else. It's a struggle to get people who through the door who've got the experience. We took 2 apprentices last season because I was saying, well, we need to. First of all, one thing I'm keen to do is encourage people into the industry, and to give them the training we can give them, and to give them the qualifications that they need. And I think just to have that new sort of younger, fresher blood in our team. They're both actually based at Finch, but
right, okay.
Yeah, I think that's a really good thing for people to be able to do. I think from our side, with us not being a big team, we have to be a little bit careful about just taking apprentice after apprentice after apprentice, because you've also got to be able to show them what you need them to do, and show them the qualities that we're trying to instill and having out throughout our team.
Progress them as well, haven't you?
Yeah. Obviously, we're about to start looking for probably a couple more staff now,
right?
To replace people who are kind of going to leave us at the end of the season. But yeah, trying to find people who've got those skills, I know, is going to straight away be a challenge to us. I'm hoping that people see us as a club and think we're, as a ground team, we're kind of going to we're moving forward, and we are. They see this place and think, oh, I'd like to. I can see that I can get a job there, and I can learn, and I can develop and go on to bigger and better things if I want to, or I can stay there because what I want to is make it a really good place to work. It's a fairly well used phrase. I'd like to educate people and train people to a point where they can leave, but we give them enough and they enjoy their work enough that they stay with us.
You personally, you've taken a couple of steps through your career. So obviously at Man City you stepped up. How big a step was it from your role at Man City to taking on this job?
Yeah, that's been a huge challenge in that the book now stops with me.
Yeah.
Basically with anything, pitches, landscapes, gardens, that's for me to to pick up and to own. If something's wrong, whether it's me that's done it wrong or somebody else in my team's not going quite right, that's on me, and that's my issue to pick up and to deal with. And I said to try and make sure my team are as happy as I can make them and as comfortable, and we're giving them the equipment, whatever it is that we need. But yeah, it's definitely been a bigger challenge than I would have expected it to be, but one I've really enjoyed as well.
Did you get any kind of support or training, or just kind of, did you lean on any of your colleagues or previous managers?
Yes and no. I think, like I said, I've learned from all those people, and you kind of see the skills and what they brought to it and how they handled situations. But yeah, just kind of lent on that experience and had a reasonably positive mindset as to how I wanted us to be as a team, and what I want from us. Do I want? I work with people who, you got something wrong and you went away with a flea in your ear. That's not what I want from my team particularly. I'd like us to sort of, if something's gone wrong, why has it happened? How do we stop it happening again? And what have we learned from it? And be that sort of team, rather than somebody who's going to be sort of ranting and railing, and that side of it. Just for me, ranting and railing at people, it's never worked, and it probably never will. It switches people off. So yeah, I kind of learned sort of bits from that, as well as best one in the world. Like I said, with taking this place on, I've lent on Bob a lot to sort of. He's been at Goodison 30 odd years. Like I said, he's going to know more about the place than I ever will. So I've kind of just to be able to just leave him to look after Goodison for the women's team for this year, and not have to worry about that, or just have catch-ups with him when I need to, and just make sure everything's going there, and sort of not be able to stress on that too much, and be able to pick up with John here, who's a new head groundsman. He's done a brilliant job, but just to be able to bounce ideas around him a bit more, and talk to Robbie and the team at Finch as well.
When you're at Man City, you got promoted within the team. This is one that always fascinates me. Was it, as a manager, an easier transition to walk into a place where people weren't your mate one day and the next day you're their boss, or was it the other way around?
I got on with the team I worked with at Man City so well that actually that was a reasonably easy step.
Okay. Until you had to give someone a bollocking.
Pretty much, yeah. That was probably an easier step in that. I'd have to look at people and go, oh, "Come on, mate, we know we can do it." And they'd be like, "Oh, we can't get away with it with you. You know us too well." And they kind of knew that I was kind of in it. I've been in the trenches with them, I suppose, to that degree. So they knew they weren't trying to hide stuff from me so well, because they knew I'd probably pick up on it and could kind of see through that a little bit. So that was easy. Coming into a new workplace is always probably a bit more difficult, in that I didn't know anybody here. So I've got to learn what motivates them, what they're looking for, and that's different with every single person. You've got to get to know every single person in your team, and are they inspired by being given the information and get on with it, or do they want a bit more guidance, or do they want a full breakdown of everything before they go and do a job? Or it's knowing each individual and how they operate to try and get the best from each of those people, really.
If we're standing here in 12 months' time, coming towards the end of next season, what would success look like to you?
I think that we would like to have a similar conversation as well. I'm talking to my team on match days again. Are we happy where the pitch is? Will we take this at the start of the year? Very different season for us this year, in that we've grown this pitch in from seed. We've already got our pitch for next season being grown in a turf farm, because our events of this summer go to the middle of July, so we don't have time to grow in from scratch and do a standard renovation.
Right.
We're not actually putting a hybrid carpet in.
Right.
We're going to put a turf system in, which is grown on plastic, which is currently being grown on plastic, which will be then stitched once it's in.
Right. Okay.
So it's a slightly different way around it. So getting through the challenges of that to start with.
So is that being used elsewhere, and you've seen it work? Or?
It's again an idea that I have seen. I know works and has been used in sort of FIFA and the Club World Cup last year.
Right.
I think they're doing it a little bit for this summer's World Cup.
Okay.
They've done it a few places in Europe. Generally not for a whole season, for places that have got more usage, and so maybe go through 2 or 3 pitches a season. I know.
Got you.
Strawberry Arena is one that have done it in Sweden.
Right.
I think so. To have that, and to have got through the challenges and the differences that will bring. That will be a real success for us and our team, and yeah.
So that'll be a first for the Premier League then?
As far as I'm aware, I don't know. I couldn't tell you for definite, but I'm unaware of it happening in that way for anywhere else at this point.
Where do you look for innovation and new ideas and ways to improve things?
I think just talking to people throughout the industry, really. I'm lucky in that I spent, part of my role at Man City was that I travelled with the team quite a lot.
Yeah.
So I was pre-season, I'd be either wherever they were travelling that summer. I would go there and try and make sure that the pitches we were going to find when we got there we were able to do the pre-season that we wanted to do there.
Yeah.
That kind of led to me seeing pitches being installed on AstroTurfs for us to use, which sometimes left me not sleeping so well at night. But yeah, but it was getting over those hurdles. But you sort of talk to groundskeepers in the US, or you talk to people, and just like I said, speaking to people throughout our industry, be it at events or speaking to reps. Somebody's trying this year, and actually that might work for us, and you may then pick up with the people who are installing and just have a chat with them about it and see what you think is the best solution for Everton Football Club.
Are you very much data driven, or do you rely on looking at that and going, I know what's going on?
I'm quite data driven. We're not quite producing as much data as I would like here.
Right.
I think
okay.
that's partly down to the size of our team.
Right. Okay.
We don't have, like I said, we're a little bit stretched, so we're probably not producing as much data as I would like us to. So I still am a little bit touchy-feely with and look and see what is the grass asking us for, and sort of trying to make best calls like that. But yeah, I think we are becoming more data-driven as an industry, and I think that's right, and I'm kind of on board with that. I just have to make sure I can get us to that point where we're generating enough data that's useful to us to make good decisions.
And that data is coming also along with a lot of new technology. I mean, we've seen a few bits of kit in your shed, that one that you got on trial from SGL that is changing the face of things. Yeah. Are you embracing that? How do you see kind of the whole automation and robotic thing affecting the industry?
I mean, I think it will be a good thing. I think I'm a fairly poor golfer for my sins of a weekend when I get a weekend off. And you can go to a lot of golf courses and you see that fairway mowing, a lot of them is a bit of a thing of the past, because they're out with robots picking all that up. I think it's a little bit at that point. I think it will develop and it will become a grounds thing, and I think that's right. I think it will just change our focus to be able to do more with aeration, to be able to do more with spraying, to be able to do more edging, to make everything look neat and tidy and prim and proper. I don't think we'll reduce our number. I think we will just be the people. We'll still have to be able to set the machine, and you'll just become the person rather than sitting on the machine. You're the robot operator, and it goes out and does the work. But you've got to program it. You've got to be able to maintain it. You've got to be able to repair it.
Give you more time to develop the more skillful side of the job?
Yeah.
The more scientific side of the job?
Yeah, and probably, like I said, and learn more about the robots themselves, or the way the technology is and how that's moving, and just make sure, like I say, you're not being left behind with it, because I don't think anybody can afford to be technology best one in the world. It's coming in, it will get you. I remember, fortunately for me, I'm old enough to remember when I started dating my wife, text messages weren't a thing. I've got 2 teenage daughters now, and they're constantly text messaging me. They don't know a world without a mobile phone. No. You and I probably both remember days before that, when you had to ring somebody up and it was speak to their parents because there was a one landline. That was it. Yeah.
Probably. Yeah. You're very kind. You're not using a robot for line marking, are you?
Not in here, no. We do have one at our training ground at Finch. We probably could do the second one there, because again, when you have wet days in winter and you have quite a lot of them back to back, which we tend to get on the west side of the country here.
Yeah.
Everybody wants a robot at the same time.
Gotcha.
So to have a second one would be quite useful to us, I think. But in here, again, GPS signal and things like that, we won't take the chance with it. We're old-fashioned and we'll use a string.
Okay.
I don't see that changing particularly anytime soon. I kind of think there's a lot less to go wrong. You put a string down, you can see where it is, and you follow it, and there's that's the easiest, simplest way to get that to where we want it to be.
So you're a bit of a hybrid yourself then, in terms of technology and
I think so. Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
traditional ways.
Yeah, definitely. I think I'm still reasonably traditional, I would say, but yeah, I'm definitely keen for us to jump on board with new technology and developments, like I said, with robots and robot marking, and because the benefits I think are there for all to see. You know, like I said, you've got 12, 13 pitches or whatever to mark out at Finch, and it's a lot of people, a lot of hours. Like I said, I want people out doing spraying, fertilising. Well, like I said, one person out, and it takes them a couple of days to mark everything out or whatever that might be. You know, it's better than I can then at least get my staff to be off and doing our other works.
We're talking about technology. Social media is all around us. When you're running a facility like this, you've got a lot of people sitting in the stands watching on TV who really don't understand the role, but they think they can make a comment without a full idea of what's going on. How do you deal with that kind of negativity?
I'm on social media. I tend not to look too much.
Right.
Again, I found it was really poor for my mental health, because again, what you see and probably what you'll find is that you take a picture and it's difficult. Nobody's going to want to show what's going quite wrong.
Yeah.
So you only ever see the best part of anything, not just from a grounds, but from the whole way through the spectrum. You only see people having a wonderful holiday or whatever it might be, and you think, oh, I never get that. And, so yeah, I think it can be quite puffy mental. So I am on these things, and I do look, but I tend to try not to read too much into any of that. But equally, you know, trying to speak to sometimes some of our team, and then they're upset by comments that have been made about the pitch.
Yeah.
And just start saying, look, these people, they don't know what we've gone through. They don't know that we've had corporate, we've had rugby league. That nobody's taken any sort of read into that. They just see it for what it is on that day, and people want to make a comment, and you kind of have to accept that we're in the public eye, so that will happen. And it's nice if people want to say good things about the place, so you kind of have to accept some people will probably have a few negative bits to say as well.
It's really easy to be negative, isn't it?
Very much so, yeah.
And then they tend to be the ones that shout the loudest.
Absolutely, well, so. Yeah. They're the ones that get noticed most, I think. I think that's just because they're the ones that hurt the most as well.
They are, yeah. What sometimes, when you're talking to people that know what they're talking about, what sometimes is more interesting than the success stories, though, is this is the problem I had, and that's how I fixed it.
Yeah.
And I think when you're sharing that amongst people that know what you're talking about, that's great. But with social media, it's quite difficult to contain that audience sometimes. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think I'd say this is not me in my comfort zone. I don't want to be the face and voice of everything. I'm quite happy to be sat in the background. But I think it's important speaking to yourselves or other grounds teams. Just for the share of information, like I said, how do you find out about things? We just speak to people.
Yeah.
I think that's the best way we can sort of share our information as an industry, and just sort of learn from each other and sort of work out how you've had that problem, how do you get past it, and that's us learning from everyone within what we do.
What are you looking forward to next then, Craig?
I'm kind of looking forward to the new pitch coming in this summer, because that's a new challenge for us as a team here, and for me as well. Going over and seeing that, and it's already been a couple of times and sort of seeing the development as to where that's at. But yeah, getting that installed and sort of making that work through next season. I think that's the next sort of big challenge for us as a team here, as well as sort of developing people, team at Finch and sort of promoting people in roles here, and trying to create a pathway for the team to be able to work their way through from the apprentices we've got through to being groundsperson to skilled groundsperson, and seeing them sort of move on.
And I thought you said a Turf Business Summit.
I didn't know I was allowed to mention that.
Mention whatever
Turf Business Summit.
That's going in, Craig, been absolutely super talking to you.
For your time.
Thanks for squeezing us in. Early start for us, but I guess not for you.
No.
You got training going on here,
we
better get out of the way.
We've got training starting in a few minutes, so we'll get ourselves moving out of the way.
That's great. Thanks again, Craig.
Thank you very much.